Good day, everyone. My name is Dr. Neals Chitan, a social and behavioral scientist based in Toronto who is currently working in the Caribbean, helping to empower men, um, help them to rise higher and realize their full potential, looking inside them to see what are some of their innate talents and skills that we could use to propel them to achieve phenomenal results. And of course, that is, by extension, a crime reduction strategy that we are now implementing in different islands of the Caribbean. Ladies and gentlemen, today the reason for this video, by the way, this is an unscripted video. I'm just responding to a video that was posted on social media from a very articulate, bright young lady, black young lady, whose name is Candace Owens, and she unapologetically expressed how much she doesn't support the undue making of George Floyd into a national hero. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, folks out there, I have said in a response I posted that I too do not believe in making heroes of people who live a law-breaking life. So I do not use them as examples or make them into heroes. But at the same time, I do put my name on the line and put myself on the line to help them to rise from that situation. Now, when Ms. Owens' video, she gave a very long history of the criminal record of Mr. Floyd. And I have no doubt, I have not looked at it myself, but of course, Ms. Owen, I'm going to take your research for granted. And you have said how many times he was imprisoned. You gave a very heartfelt story of he and his friends, his thug friends or criminal friends, barging into the home of a pregnant woman, putting a loaded gun on her stomach while they ransacked her house. And of course, for that, I cannot give Mr. Floyd any credit for it. You also spoke about the disproportionate amount of criminal activity that happens within the Black community, and with Blacks being a minority in the US, and how much, when you look at the stats, what part of the crime rate they occupy, that is disproportionate to on a per capita basis. And I understand that. However, Ms. Owen, what you did not take into consideration, because you spoke proudly about all those Black citizens, African Americans who have risen to places of prominence in the American society. And of course, we cannot help but pat them on the shoulder and saying, very well, you make us proud. And so I understand your disdain for using what you see as a criminal as a hero, making him a hero. Of course, you did very well by also separating the issues from the injustice of taking a life by a white police officer. To whoever it is, I mean, whether it's a criminal or not, no one deserved to die the way Mr. Floyd died, at the knees while he was shouting for the basic. I mean, if you out there know Maslow hierarchy of needs, air The ability to breathe is the very basic of human needs. And he was denied that, whether criminal or priest. He was denied that. However, I want to talk about some of the social issues that you did not take into consideration. For many of the Americans, the Black Americans who have done well, I mean, we go back as far as Booker T. Washington. He didn't have it favorably. He was a slave. He was born a slave on a plantation. But there was an inner hunger. Something inspired him to move forward. And of course, we know what the end of his life was. He was one of the greatest teachers that America has ever seen. And so sometimes there are two things that really make people achieve well. One is inspiration. People who have inspired them despite the circumstances to rise. And two, hard times. Sometimes difficult situations cause people to rethink their position, see themselves, do a self-assessment or inventory of their talents, and say, no, I cannot stay here and die. I must rise. The question is, do you know Mr. Floyd's situation? Do you know what home he's coming from? Oh, by the way, Miss Owen, do you know of the well-engineered plan, historic plan that was put in place to make sure the Black man does not rise? It's there in history, and I won't tell you what it is, but you can go look for it. Do you know of the well-engineered plan to disrupt the social structure of the Black home, break it at the foundation so that they could produce George Floyd's? When we look at you're sure right, the disproportionate amount of Blacks in jail, in all our jails in the United States of America and Canada too, by the way, where I'm from, Toronto. We have to ask ourselves, is it a systemic plan, or are we really the monsters and evil people that we are made out to be? And I want you to know, Ms. Owen, no, that's not so at all. We are not. We are not. So then we have to look at systemic structures that may have created a George Floyd. Yes, you talked about his record. Yes, you talked about how many times he went to jail. I'm here to tell you, Miss Owen, I work in the jails. I work in jails in America, in Canada, everywhere I go. Now in the Caribbean, I work in jails. My job is to engage a powerful, four-dimensional men empowerment program that would show these men that they do not have to subscribe to the unfairness of life or the plan that was engineered to keep them down. They do not have to subscribe, that they could do better. And I'm happy to let you know that if you go on my YouTube channel, you will see scores of them, scores of George Floyd who have risen because knowledge is power. When we engage these sessions with them and they see who they are and the prediction on their lives, they say, no, I wouldn't live up to that prediction, and change their life around. So I hear you, Miss Owen. Well, I got a question for you. Because your video was called My Confession. So I ask you to confess now. Is it possible that you grew up in a privileged home? A home where parents inspired you to become what you are. And now you have this strong disdain for criminal elements among Blacks. So, Ms. Owen, answer my question. Please confess. many young black boys you see on the streets getting involved in drugs, getting suspended from school? How many have you helped? How many have you looked in the eye and say, boy, you could do better? How many George Floyds have you personally stopped your car, turned the window down and say, hey, bro, let's have a conversation? I'm here to tell you, Miss Owen, that I have done that. Check my record out. And we have changed many a George Floyd into successful, productive men. Our program motivate our company, our agency, Social Skill Agency, Motivate for Change International, with 2 of our flagship programs, Project Stop and Think. And the second one, Am More. That's I''M, I am, more, M-O-I, me, French for me. But the acronym also means Men of Integrity. With this program, we have lifted so many men. You see, Miss Owen, you want our black men to lift themselves up by the bootstrap, according to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. When they have no boots, they have no strap. How would they do it? I'm challenging you, Miss Owen, with the passion that I see, which I like very much, by the way. I'm challenging you to create a testimony. As of today, create a testimony. The next black boy you see, a black man that is not representing you well because they're involved in criminal activity or whatever it is, I challenge you to stop, go by, and inspire them. And I suggest to you, if you do a good job, check them out in 5 years' time. I've done so, and they have done remarkably well. So I appreciate your frankness. I appreciate the fact that you're doing well for yourself. But I ask you that as you climb out of the barrel, don't forget those that are stuck in the barrel. Thank you very much. As I said, this is just a unscripted response, but I had to respond. God bless you. And again, my name is Dr. Neals Chitan. My PhD is in social and behavioral sciences. I could be reached for comment at 647-692-6330, or in the Caribbean, I'm right now in Grenada, the Spice Island of the world. I could be reached at 1-473-416-8377. Thank you very much. God bless you.